What's up, everybody? Oh, we gotta go down the path a bit. It does say we need to kill some more beasts, though, as part of the bonus. And since I need XP pretty desperately, I'd say we should probably kill any of the beasts we see along the way. Hang on, I'm trying to figure out where to place. There we go. Do these beasties count?
Take it easy.
They do indeed. What's up, Ghost Walkers? Good morning, everybody else. I've had a piece of cold pizza. I have coffee. We'll get a second cup of coffee here in a little bit. No, those are Mandos. Just need 6 more.
See how they like this.
I think we only need a couple more. Tomorrow, south of midnight? Yes. I checked launch times last night. They put a post up 10 a.m. Central Time, 9 a.m. Pacific. So we will do a morning stream of something, and then we will switch over and play some south of midnight. Tis tomorrow. I also have Ghost of Tsushima downloaded, so we'll probably dabble with that a little bit. Unless they announce that, where is the person I'm supposed to talk to? Ah, right here. Unless they announce that Baldur's Gate 3's patch 8 is dropping sometime in April. I've got a gap in mid-April that I need to fill with something because Expedition 33 doesn't start until like April 24th. I may do early access for that, which will be like April 20th or something, but I still have between... Because South of Midnight is 12 hours. That'll be 2-3 days max. So I'll be done with that by the 10th. I got like a 10-day gap. 10 to 12-day gap in the middle of April where I have no new releases that I know of. So I need to find a good like 40-hour game that I can play in between there. Because if I can log like 6 hours a day, you know, yeah, give me a good 7 days, like I can do a 40-hour game. Something that's 40 to 50 hours. So I've got Ghost of Tsushima downloaded, which I did a partial playthrough of a couple years back, but I didn't get a chance to finish it. So I might do that.
Come on over. There's nothing to trouble us here.
We'll see.
We can speak freely. I'm Major Pathel, at your service. It's always wonderful to meet new initiates. The Order of Revan needs all the dedicated young people it can get.
You're awfully cheerful, aren't you?
A necessary precondition of living on the wall, I think. To keep healthy out here, one needs spirit. I don't know how your other meetings went, but I like to conduct these interviews informally. No point making your life difficult, eh? Quite a few initiates, young officers, acolytes, and the like, think our secret society will help them become morphs or dark lords. You're not like that, I presume?
Stephen Morales says good morning. Good morning to everybody.
Is there something wrong with wanting authority?
Not a thing. But you've got to seize it for yourself. And I'm confident you can do that without the Order's help. Not every initiate realizes that advancement in the Revanites does not guarantee advancement in the Empire, nor how dangerous being a Revanite really is. The Dark Council seeks to root us out. So, how do we respond? How do we answer the Empire's accusations of heresy?
We move secretly. We manipulate those in power.
Exactly. We work in the shadows to reform the Empire, but we don't betray its ideals. That's all I needed to make my judgment. I'm going to send a message to the compound. Raymond will be waiting for you.
Then I'm done with the likes of you.
So you are, for now.
I probably have to follow a path. You know what? If I can take... Is there a taxi over here?
Destination? Enjoy your stay.
Enjoy your stay.
So you finished the pilgrimage. Not bad. I don't know what happened out there. It's none of my business. But
That's
the inner
right.
circle approves of your initiation.
Glad to hear it.
You did good in this trial. Now you'll have to find someone else to show you the next stage of the journey.
If that's right, I have no more need for you.
Good luck. Every step brings you closer to the Master.
Well, you really made it, didn't you? I've been hearing a lot about your progress, hearing about your trials. Your initiation has not been an easy one, but you've met the challenge and showed you can walk Revan's path. Now you may undergo the final rite.
Is this where I speak to the Master?
Yes, you've earned your audience. The Master will complete your lessons, and you'll be welcomed as a full member of the Order of Revan. This is a great privilege. The Master reveals himself to no one outside the Order.
At last, the respect I deserve.
You may go to the Master in his chamber. He will be waiting for you. Listen to him, obey him. Through the Master, you will know the path of Revan.
All right. We should be right on top of it. Oh, now it's going to be a holograph.
You who have died and been reborn, stand before me now. You who have reclaimed the ancient past, stand before me now. You who have demonstrated power and wisdom to my followers, look upon the Master of the Order of Revan.
Are you too afraid to show your face?
Silence! This is the end of your initiation and the beginning of your true journey. You will walk the path of Revan forevermore. The enemies of the Order will force you to move in shadows. But we shall keep your secrets safe, as you shall keep ours.
The time for subterfuge is over. Know me for who I am.
Finally.
So, the puppet master is revealed.
I apologize for the deception, and for not meeting you sooner. But you must know how badly the Dark Council wants me dead. The Order of Revan threatens everything the Dark Council prizes.
What makes the Order such a threat?
Revan came to Drummond Castle after being reborn. Some believe Revan died at the hands of our Emperor. I believe otherwise. I believe Revan overthrew the Emperor and has sat secretly on the throne for 3 centuries. Aside from our Order, only the Dark Council knows the truth.
I don't like where this is leading.
I have heard whispers in the Citadel. For decades, the Emperor has been in seclusion. The Dark Council no longer speaks with him. The only explanation is this. The Dark Council betrayed their leader and locked Emperor Revan away, seizing power for themselves. They seek to silence us because we know.
Yeah, that's a little crazy. All right, thanks, Sebastian. Appreciate
I
it.
think I've heard enough conspiracy theories.
It's difficult, I know, to think that our great Emperor suffers. But I would ask you for your help. My agents tell me that you met with a Sith named Sandor, a man who seeks to destroy the Revanites. End his threat. Go to Sandor and tell him that you met the Revanite leader. Tell him that the leader is his own master, Darth Charnas.
What makes you think I won't betray you instead?
You're one of us now. I put my trust in you, Revanite. I obtained this Sith amulet from Charnas. Give it to Sandor. He'll believe you stole it from his master while among the Revanites. They will turn against each other. When this is done, though, when you've spoken to Sandor, you cannot return here.
But I thought I was part of the Order.
Sandor must never suspect your true allegiance. You must walk the path of Revan on your own. The path to power. The path neither Jedi nor Sith. May the Force be with you. May it make you strong.
Okay. That means going back to that other camp.
Welcome. Please select an available travel route. Have a safe and pleasant stay.
Clever slave turned master. You return from having your ears filled with lies by the Revanites. I do not envy you the experience. Tell me now, did you find what we need? Did you see the face of the leader?
Oh.
It was a man. I couldn't learn his name, but he wore this amulet.
Oh, perhaps that will be enough. A symbol of rank or affiliation or... This. I know this amulet. How did you obtain it?
I don't need to tell you the story. You can figure it out.
This is the amulet of my master, Darth Charnas, taken from the Order of Revan. Speak to no one of this. I will deal with my master myself.
Your master's heresies cannot be allowed to endure.
I agree, but that is all I will say for now. Take your payment for my own keepings. It is all I can offer you without alerting Darth Charnas. Leave now. We cannot be seen together any longer, and I have much to do.
Don't expect to see me again.
Agreed. It would only complicate matters.
Right. It's all lower tier stuff, so it's not going to be worthwhile for me at the moment. I do probably... Okay. My question is, where do I go from here? Questions level... I really don't like Kesh's storylines. But I gotta get to level 42 to be able to finish the main storyline. Probably some flashpoints too.
Do you require medical attention? Be well.
Not doing any crafting, so I suppose we could do a flashpoint. Knock off the level. Get a ding from doing a flashpoint. Black Talon. Oh, I don't know that I've ever done these from the Empire's side. Or if I did, I don't remember. Yeah, we might have to do that. Let me get some more coffee. Then we will, we go do a flashpoint or two. Coffee is good, coffee is great. Bow down before the coffee pot to celebrate. Coffee is delicious, coffee makes you go woo woo. That's right, kids, sing the coffee song. Alright, boarding party, go. I believe they give me... I think I get a robot to help out on these, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, which means I could probably turn her into DPS. Summon the robot. Overworld says, I miss playing this game. How active is it still? I mean, it still has a very active population, but it's not an MMO anymore. It hasn't been for a decade. There are in-game guilds if you want to participate in that kind of shit, but it's pretty much been designed from the ground up ever since they went free to play as a single-player storyline RPG. So it doesn't really matter how active it is unless you want to be in a guild. Because you can matchmake everything, and from the dungeons you could do story modes, which is what I'm doing right now. I'm doing a story mode dungeon. You don't need to ever see another player if you don't want to, but it's there if you want to participate.
We've scanned the cruiser for life signs. There's a full battalion aboard, along with a team of Jedi Knights. Be cautious. All parties go. Go!
Best duelist in my class.
Ow! I don't know where that rumor started, Bear. That rumor, I've had multiple people coming to me over the last 2-3 days. What's up with the remake? There was never a remake announced for this game. Ever. Don't know where that remake rumor came from. Can you team up with Republic players? No. If you're Sith, you're Sith. If you're Republic, you're Republic. It's still the same old faction system it's always been.
Like this.
You heard an indie studio was trying to take it on. Man, I'd love to know where these rumors get started. That is just not even remotely true.
All crew members proceed to your assigned security stations. We have been boarded.
Alright, what do we got up in here? Yeah, the KOTOR remake is something completely different. That's Saber Interactive, the company behind Space Marine 2. They just made a press statement about 3 weeks ago about the KOTOR remake. Still on, still going strong. But that's a completely different project. We need to go this way. You know, I might go ahead and switch her back to tank. Actually, you know what? What if I put her... Is that a clickable? It is a clickable. Now you're making me want to go back and check for other clickables. I don't think I've seen other ones. No, I think that's the first. I think I prefer her in the DPS role right now. I can't get all 4 of these, can I? I got 3 of them. What was Eye of the Storm? Oh, it's an AoE version. Yeah, the move to Broadsword was like 3 years ago? 2 years ago? Something like that. It is PC only, Heinrich. Sorry. Henrik, I meant Heinrich. It is PC only, yep. I would assume you could play it on like your Steam Deck though, like, because it is available on Steam. So, but you could play it on your Steam Deck, probably play it on your handhelds. So maybe I shouldn't say PC only, but no console edition. if there's anything special I have to do with this guy. Let's find out. From the generators. Is there anything I can do to shut down the generators?
Near death.
Alright, any goodies? I did get a new robe. Take that. Bag of goodies. Alright. Stage 2.
We lost engineering, but the Vanguard is headed for the bridge. Regroup and protect the command deck.
Heinrich. I want to play this game again. I mean, that's the thing. It's still going strong. It's definitely a niche game these days, but I don't, from my personal perspective, who gives a shit? Like, I see a lot of people will say things like, oh, the game is dead. No one plays the game anymore. It's not like it used to be when it released 15 years ago. And it's like, yeah, because that was 15 years ago. Like, World of Warcraft peaked 15 years ago. Like, MMOs are not what they used to be because there's so much more competition these days. The game still has... So here's the cool thing. Star Wars: Old Republic, and I was saying this earlier for those who might have missed it, Star Wars: Old Republic has not been a forced grouping game since it went free to play, which was like more than a decade ago. It's been a single-player RPG with an optional online multiplayer component for more than a decade. Which means you don't need other people. It doesn't matter how many other people are playing the game, because it's single-player, online RPG, where you don't need other people to group with. Like, you can group with other people if you want to. There is an online component if you choose to participate. There are guilds if you choose to participate, but you don't have to participate. You could do matchmaking for everything, and I can go matchmake right now and find a group within 60 seconds. I can matchmake. I can matchmake for flashpoints. I can matchmake for, if I'm max level, I can matchmake for what do you call them? The operations. The operations do take some time to matchmake for. Like, I did some matchmaking last year for operations, and those take about 45 minutes to find other players for. But that's because it's an operation. It's not something that normal average everyday player is worried about, because it takes a long time to commit to. So it doesn't matter how many people are playing the game anymore. It doesn't, because you aren't going to be grouping with them. You are going to be playing as a single player. And then if you want to find other people to play with, you can, but you're going to have to be at cap, because no one gives a shit about grouping at low levels. Even if you want to group as an individual, no one else wants to group, because the game has been redesigned from the ground up to be single player RPG in an online space. So, but there are still, like, the last time I checked the numbers was like 150,000 people playing on a monthly basis, which is still extremely good.
I have this.
Yeah, I think they added it to Steam like 4 or 5 years ago. Like, it used to only ever be available through their own launcher and stuff. Then they added it to Steam, which just made it more accessible to people. Like, I will always laugh at people who try to doom and gloom things. But if the game isn't doing as good as it did 10 years ago, the game's dead. It's like, have you played it? Nope. Shut the fuck up. Have you listened to the investor reports? No? Shut the fuck up. Yeah, I don't know what the numbers are today, but I know last year it was like 150K. So, Lord of the Rings Online still has 125, 150,000. Like, these games are still doing very well because they have their own audiences. I don't play it all the time, but I do jump in a few times a year. Occasionally, I will subscribe. Heinrich says it's only €10 on Steam. Buying it now. Yeah, it's I don't even know. It's free to play for the for some, you know, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what it costs, what the costs are for on Steam, because it's a free-to-play game.
Force be with us.
Hector. Alright, I need to figure out. I don't see another comm relay here, so I think we're good to zone 4.
Help me, please.
My robot is doing a poopy job of healing my companion. Well, this is a boss fight. Probably have to take out the robots first.
See how they like
Woo!
this.
Ow. Oh, can I eat these guys off? Can I eat these guys off? Can I eat these guys off? Yeah, buddy! There's nothing more satisfying than using force powers to yeet somebody off of the edge of a cliff. I'm never going to get tired of that in any game that I play. It's not gonna work. It's not far enough.
Can't hold on much longer.
Oh, there's guys down there too. Interesting.
Jedi doesn't fear death.
Okay.
This is Captain Yeldo to Master Donaire. We've identified the enemy vanguard. Intercept immediately.
Too late. I still think I prefer, like, this is like the Sith is an interesting class, the Sith sorcerer or whatever this is called. It's not my favorite. It's not enough lightsaber for me. I like more lightsaber. But the storyline has been genuinely. It's the last of the origin stories that I've yet to play over the years, so that's the part of it that's been most intriguing to me.
As you say, my
Jedi gets me to the next stage. Jedi healer. Yeah, definitely need to get the healers done first.
You will not pass. I am Jedi and I will stop you.
Good for you. It's nice to have conviction.
You are formidable, but the Force will guide me. Defeat me and 100 more will come for you. Defeat me and 100 more will come for you.
I don't think I can interrupt the healing trance.
There's no death, only the Force.
What's up, Thandar? Jedi voodoo. Alright, any more? I don't see any more comm relays, so let's click the button. Pull the lever, Kronk!
This is Captain Yelto to the Imperial boarding party. I admit, you have us outnumbered and outgunned. You know we're not going to escape.
Tell your crew to stand down and turn command over to me.
I don't think so. This vessel is powered by a Type 4 hypermatter annihilator. Right now, I'm disabling the safeties and rigging it to self-destruct. In a few minutes, you, me, my ship, and half your fleet will be reduced to stardust.
There's no need to kill yourself. We can work something out.
I'm afraid we can't. Yelto out.
Okay, are we going through the door? We're going through the door. Looks like we can go. What are those things we have to click on? Oh, we gotta secure things. Hello? Those are some wicked sound effects happening in the background. And like the screen shake. Well, Thandar says felt funny not being in chat for a few days. You gotta get your fix, man. What's up, Nigel? Oh, he did heal him finally.
Best duelist in my class.
Yeah, we gotta, let's see. Nigel just joined, so we gotta... Hola, papi. There we go. It's like the ooh-woo, only it's like the Mexican ooh-woo.
engineer. We're reading a spike in power levels. You need to get to the bridge.
Well, we are working our way towards the bridge, sir. Stop rushing me. I gotta admit, this red is really not doing good things for my eyes. Oh yeah, ooh, I got a personal conquest reward. Hold up, wait a minute. Because those are some juicy rewards from those. Ooh, I got a mask. Put that on. I got a backpack with goodies. I got a cred stick. I can't run that right now because I'm already doing a experience boost. I got another. Ooh, I got companion gifts. So let's rank her up. No influence gain. Boo. Moderate. Yep. Yep.
That's quite nice.
And a moderate.
Is this really for me? I love it.
Good for you, sweetheart. Oh yeah, upgrades across the board. Gloves, earring. Dun dun. Alright, I got another one of these. Okay. Got some nice upgrades from that. It just reminded me too, I need to check my login rewards. Oh, we're good. JK says, by the way, I'm finding the Hunter's the easiest class I've played so far. But I bought stuff from the Chance Merchant and have better gear. Doing a combo of shield, armor, and evasion. That may have been my... that class was not hitting for me. And it may be because of the fact that it does want you to use the shield more frequently, and I don't like the way that they do the shield, because you're expected to like manually block and then release. So block, release, block, and it's just too much. That may be my... I really enjoyed the sorceress. I almost played this morning. I almost went and tried a hunter this archer, I think is what it's called, not a ranger. Whatever, the fucking archer build. Because that's one I haven't tried yet. I've only done the monk, the sorceress, and one other one, plus the huntress. So I may go back and try the hunter archer this afternoon or something. I was not feeling the huntress though. Like, I appreciate that it was probably a me problem. Of not just that class was not resonating with me, but yeah, it didn't. But I'm glad to hear that you're making it work for you. It's a very interesting thing with that game. The different things you could do with builds. I was just struggling to get it where I wanted it to be. I saw the demo stuff for Tainted Grail. If the demo's still out, that might be something I can go try.
force.
I can't wait for them to add the druid. I have liked the druid in every ARPG I've played. So I'm hoping that they do cool stuff with the druid when they add it to PoE. Because if the druid hits, if the druid resonates with me, then I'll end up playing a druid through the main storyline when the game launches. Either that or the sorceress, because the sorceress was really a lot of fun. It's weird to me because I've played hunters like my whole life. I've always played like archer builds. And then over the last few years, I've found myself gravitating more and more towards like mages and druids. I've started to like VFX more than bouncing around and being agile.
Be with us.
It's probably because I started collecting animals in my real life. So the druid is starting to resonate with me on a real life level. It's like I'm gonna smell like chicken shit and have birds everywhere. Man, I don't know what we're gonna do if we have a bunch of ducklings, because she's sitting on 16 eggs. We already have like 30 chickens and no room in the backyard, and Chris is like, it's like, what are we gonna do with all these? She's like, well, we're gonna switch over from chickens to ducks, and I was like, all right, have fun, good luck with that. A paladin type class, that could be fun. Yeah, I really liked my first character in Diablo 4 was the rogue archer. It was okay. Then I tried the mage, it was okay, and then I tried the druid. And the druid in Diablo 4 is fucking good. By the way, I totally missed there was a raid on the channel about 17 minutes ago from Digital over on Twitch. Thanks for that. I apologize for the late delay. I don't have audio cues on, so I totally missed that there was a raid happening. Well, the duck, she started laying eggs like about 2 weeks before we made the duck pond. And we had bought that pool, not a pond. We bought that pool thing like 6 months ago, and then we just never got around to it because of my leg and because of Pippin the cat. And then Chris finally put it in the ground about, I don't know, 2 weeks ago or something. And the female duck had already started laying eggs maybe a week before that. And she finally started brooding. I think today's the 3rd day. Chris has it written down somewhere. I think today's day 3. And she's got 16 eggs. She waited until she had 16 eggs and then started. She did 18 days of egg laying, because we have 2 more that Chris brought inside and just didn't put out there because they were older. So she laid eggs for 18 days and then started brooding. So by the end of this month, we should have, I think it's like 30 days or 28 days or something for ducks. So by the end of this month, 1st of next month, we will know how many ducklings she has. But the question is, like I told Chris yesterday, I was like, that little pool that we bought is only, we don't have a lot of space in our backyard. And that little pool is like, maybe 3 or 4 ducks could fit in there. It's what's going to happen if she has what happens if 10 of those 16 eggs hatch? It's not going to be any space. They're going to have to take turns to use the duck pool. But yeah, they do love their little pool. It's quite funny now because she's getting up twice a day right now off the nest, and she'll go out, get food, jump in the pool, take a bath, and then go dry off, and then goes back to the eggs. And meanwhile, the male duck is just sulking in the corner of the yard because he's not getting any nookie right now. And every time she comes off the eggs, he tries to go violate her. it's quite amusing. I've never raised ducks before, and my sister-in-law is just having a conniption fit because she's raised ducks for years. And so she's laughing because I'm like sending her WhatsApp messages documenting what's going on with the ducks. And she's just, the comment she sent me the other night was, Chris got freaked out because like he had her in the pool and he was like, had her head underwater while he was going to town. And it's like, we're sending my sister-in-law text messages like, hey, is this normal? Like, what, should we be worried? And she's like, male ducks are super rapey. And I was just like, wow. Yeah, I'm learning that because he does not stop. And it's like, she's like, you're gonna have to get him some other ducks. And it's like, well, hopefully in a month we'll have some new ones. Because yeah, he is aggressive, way more aggressive than chickens. Like I've never seen a rooster. You know, like roosters will grab them and do their thing, but it's, you know, this duck is like 10 times a day. Like and it may just be because he's only got one right now, you know. Whereas, you know, with our roosters, they've all got, each one of our roosters has like 10 or 12 hens. They spread it out a little bit more.
See how they like this.
What did I just ding? I dinged some 38. Nice. Okay, we're getting closer to the level I need to get back to the main quest. That's the bonus mission. So this afternoon, I may go back and try the Hunter this afternoon, the Archer, excuse me, in PoE, and see how I feel about that one. I'm still not, you know, I'm not motivated to put a lot of time into it yet, because they're still changing so many things between now and launch. What I'm mostly doing is just using the early access as a way for me to test the classes as they release them, and figure out what I want to play when the game actually launches and has its full release. No, I went the wrong way. Like, I still haven't gotten to the point where I don't even know what ascendancies are, even though I hear people talking about ascendancies all the time. And I never really played the first game, so I'm literally sort of figuring out as I go along. I tried the first game a couple times, but the graphics were just kind of not that great, so I was never really compelled to want to spend a lot of time. But I also have Ghosts of Tsushima downloaded. I'm really just, there's a part of me that really hopes that Baldur's Gate 3 drops patch 8 like in the next week, because if they did that, now would be the perfect time for me to start a Baldur's Gate 3 playthrough, because I've got a huge gap between like the 10th and the 24th of the month. There's like 2 weeks, 10 days to 2 weeks where I've got not a lot else going on, and it's either going to be a Ghost of Tsushima playthrough mixed in with some other stuff, or it might be a Baldur's Gate 3 playthrough. I just don't have any major releases planned for the middle of the month. So I'm sort of like bouncing around trying to figure out what I'm going to do for like mid-April. So there's just no release date for patch 8 yet. They went into stress testing. They said they started doing the final stress testing at the end of March, like March 27th maybe. I'm very surprised too, Nigel. Like they literally made the announcement that it was going into the final stress testing like March 26th or March 27th. So it should be right around the corner. But yeah, they have yet to announce a release date. So I'm sitting here going, I really hope it happens by the 10th, because then I could just be like, all right, cool, we're going straight into it. And honestly, I should probably just load it up on the Xbox Series X anyway, just to get it prepped and ready to go, so that I've got the game. Because I've got it on my external hard drive right now. I just need to switch it back to the main Xbox. The front left radiator or repulsive radiation. I don't know what that means. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm gonna try the swashbuckler. Oh shit! What just happened? Wasn't paying attention. Self-destruct kill switch. That hurt. So I think maybe we have to do the droids before we do the boss. I think I'm gonna do the pirate, the swashbuckler dude, which is a rogue subclass. Because my initial idea was that I was going to go through, whenever I did my next playthrough, I was going to go through as a traditional rogue with backstab and everything else. But then they announced the swashbuckler, and I'm like, that might be kind of fun just from a roleplay perspective. You know, it's not a stealth-heavy class, so I'm not quite sure how it would play. But I'm looking forward to trying. I think that's probably going to be what I try. Probably. The thing is like, I can really only accommodate it. I can only play Baldur's Gate 3 patch 8. Like, I'm only planning on doing it in between major releases. So I'm really hoping that they do it this, like, right now. Like, because I've got a gap. Because Expedition 33 doesn't start until the 24th, unless I do early access. But then, like, as soon as Expedition 33 drops, it's gonna be, that's a 30 hour, they said it's a 30-hour main storyline, so I can, and with side content, there's probably 60 hours. So I'm anticipating like a 40-hour playthrough for Expedition 33. Then there's the Days Gone remaster happening on the 25th, and then Doom: The Dark Ages starts on the 15th, and then Dune Awakening also starts on the 15th for me because I have the Ultimate Edition of Dune Awakening. So I've got two major releases happening on May 15th. So from the 15th to the 30th of May, at the very least, I'm busy with Doom and Dune Awakening. And then from the 25th of, like, 24th of April till probably early, you know, the first week or so of May, I've got two other releases. So it's like, and to be honest with you, I don't think that I'm bound by NDA when I say the following. Let me be vague about this without being vague. So there's, one of the games that I just mentioned that's coming out in May. There's something that kicks off the 10th, from the 10th to the 23rd, which I can't release any footage of until the 25th. But I'm going to be busy this month from the 10th to the 23rd doing stuff offline, recording a bunch of footage that I can then start releasing on the 25th. So I'm also going to be busy. I got to try to log at least 2 hours a day doing that for the next 2 weeks. But I can't stream that. That'll be one of the first projects I've done where I don't stream it. And I'm hoping it pays off. It's kind of like an experiment on my end, to see if it's worth it to do that. Anyway, I still got a bunch of stuff happening, so. But I don't have any major releases in the middle of April, and I really want Baldur's Gate 3 to do it. Because if it's not that, it's going to be the Rage playthrough of, Oh! The droids are dead. I still got the credit. I don't have to redo the fight. Yay! Anyway, I'm really hoping that, for Baldur's Gate 3. Otherwise, I do have Ghost of Tsushima ready and ready to go. And I'm going to start that Rage playthrough tomorrow, probably. I almost did it this morning, but honestly, I was sitting here. I hadn't had coffee yet. And I was like, I don't feel like getting the glasses and the headband. And I don't feel like doing the Persona first thing in the morning. Like, that's an afternoon stream. Probably. I might do it tomorrow. If I'm prepped for it, I could probably do it tomorrow. But I wasn't in the mood to do it this morning. So, like, I'll do that next time. But I did get Ghost of Tsushima prepped this morning. I loaded it up with Japanese subtitles, or Japanese dubs with English subtitles. I put it in the black and white mode, and I already have all the title and everything. I just got to make my thumbnail and get the Persona ready so that I can go do the Rage playthrough of the real, authentic samurai game. That'll be fun. I have no idea if there's going to be people that actually show up and watch that other than our normal crowd. But if not, it'll be something fun to do for a, one-off stream. Just for shits and giggles.
I have this.
And I still need 2 more of those comm relay links, which I don't see anywhere. Dude, these flashpoints are proper when you do them solo. Like, we've been in here for like an hour plus now. I still don't hear any rain. It was scheduled to start raining at like 9 o'clock last night, and I woke up at 4 this morning and it still hadn't started raining. But I can say the good thing is that the temperatures came down, because we were running like 40 degrees Celsius for the last week, and today it's only going to be... I'm going to look, because the temperatures came way down with the weather. It's supposed to get rain today and tomorrow. It is only going to be 24 Celsius today, 23 Celsius tomorrow, which is about 75 degrees Fahrenheit. It's going to be really nice temperatures today and tomorrow. I'm actually, after I finish up the morning stream today, I'm actually going to do, I got a steak thawing out, and I'm going to fire up the grill, and I'm going to make a late breakfast. We're going to have, I'm going to do cast iron. I got a cast iron skillet that we're going to do. I'm going to fire up the grill with wood fire grill, and then I'm going to do a steak, and then I'm going to cook up some potatoes with garlic and onions and rosemary and stuff, and then have like steak and eggs and potatoes for breakfast. But that's going to be after the stream.
Old non-essential fleet vessels withdraw. The Republic ship is
And then I'll come
preparing
back
to
and probably do
self-destruct.
some more Path of Exile today. But we've still got time. Nigel says, I want to do a Dark Urge, Death Cleric, Four Horsemen kind of theme. That's interesting. I think that's one of the really cool aspects of Baldur's Gate 3 is that, much like with the first games, there's so much diversity in what you can create with the existing subclasses, and then they're adding, you know, new subclasses on top of it. Oh, I have to, excuse me, I have to sell that. Alright, I only need one more relay. Did you just elbow me in the face? I've been tempted to try that too as well, Drbrom.
What happens now?
So honestly, if I can do that with a swashbuckler, can you? So I've never done that, Drbrom. Is the Dark Urge? That's just like the story, right? Like you can play that for any class, right? So if that's the case, then I think that's what I'll do because I never touched the Dark Urge, and that sounds like it could be a lot of fun, like going in and doing my swashbuckler as a Dark Urge who stays good. That sounds to me like it could be a lot of fun, and it would make for a compelling stream playthrough because it would be a bunch of decisions, a bunch of choices that I haven't ever, like I've never done the Dark Urge stuff, so that would all be new for me, even though, you know, the base game is still the same. Any class? Ooh. Well, I think that settles it then. I think it sounds like I just need to make room for... Yeah, the problem is, where do I make room for it? Fuck. I really just need to hire a video editor, and that's the easiest solution.
For the captain! For the Republic! If we're going down, we're taking you with us. Maneuver 7, recharge! A few seconds more and this whole ship self-destructs. You'll never win. The Empire is doomed.
Get any goodies? Alright. I missed a comm relink somewhere. Comm link relay somewhere along the way. I missed it. Oh well. Nigel says Dark Urge is my favorite version of the game, good or bad. Yeah, I guess I just kind of ignored it at first because I never wanted to go through and do an evil playthrough. And I didn't really know about the fact that you could do it as a good playthrough until later.
Is this some great victory to you?
By that point, I'd already moved on. It was like 3 months beyond the game or something. I was like, oh.
You will give us access to the foundry, and that could change everything.
If it does, it won't be with our help. I'm not telling you anything, and I'm not begging for the lives of my crew. I know about the massacres of the last war.
All boarding parties report success. Should we begin executions?
Murder serves no purpose here. Tell the men to treat the captives fairly.
I'll call for a prisoner transport.
Success on all fronts. We'll march the prisoners through Car City and show them the Empire's glory. In turn, they will tell the galaxy. More importantly, the cruiser is ours. Preparing it for the assault on the Foundry and its Jedi Master now.
Then I'm finished here.
We need to make a few repairs and get a crew in place, but we'll be ready shortly. In the meantime, I offer congratulations and suggest you return to the flagship. Darth Malgus wants to speak to his strike force.
Now there's a follow-up to this. If I remember correctly, this is a 2 or 3-part series. I don't think I've ever done these from the Imperial side. I've always done them from the Republic side. So I don't really have any recollection of having done these from this side of the game or not. That's the boarding party. The next one I think is the next one the Foundry? Oop, let's check our mail. Housing reward. We can ignore that for now, I think, probably. Or not. Crime lords are related to stage enemies take the biggest state of the cutscene. One of the look at so much. Meet with crime lords in the march on Hutta. Sure, why not? It's a level 38 quest, and I'm looking to level up, so let's do it. I should go, however, say good morning to my wife, because I hear her doing stuff out in the house, and get some more coffee. So I'll be right back. Alright. I do wish this game had controller support, because I would love to stand up and play standing for a little while, but no. JK says Dark Urge equals Murder Hobo, but you can resist. It sounds like a lot of fun. Definitely looking forward to that. I'm gonna Google really quick. Baldur's Gate 3 Patch 8 release. Yeah, still no. I meant patch 8. I don't know why I typed patch 3. Yeah, no one knows. It'd be great if we could get a release date, but still nothing, man. Man, I pissed off a bunch of PoE players apparently with my nerfs are a figment of your imagination video yesterday. I've had to just hide like 20 people from the channel over the since last night. I've had a bunch of people calling me retarded, which it's funny when people resort to the R word. You're retarded. You don't know what you're talking about. Jonathan lied. Man, people get their panties in a wad. They took away my OP ability. The best part about somebody calling you retarded is you know you've won. If that's their only recourse is to call you retarded, it's like, I won. I won. You're name calling like you're in 5th grade. Oh, we're going into a cantina? Oh, hello. So this is from the Galactic Seasons. Yeah, so see, this is from the recent stuff. I've never played any of this Galactic Seasonal stuff. So this won't have personal, this might not have personal voiceovers for my character. I don't know yet. You summoned me, and this is the welcome I get. Yeah, see, this doesn't have the personal voiceovers. Because they don't have the same voice acting cast from 15 years ago. Yeah, it's a pretty lame word, Bear. I mean, there's a reason why it's considered... You can't say that word anymore. In the US, like, you can't use that word in school or anything like that. Like, it's a prohibited word. Like... Alright, why should I be? Speak quickly.
Patugawata kiku ubakili wata bonkidonko chobod I kafsuan dilejoya tuka changa goptala de botgabanotase ikit.
I've taken down a Jedi. I'll take care of it.
Bogbatra wanawanga.
So I've never like looked at this kind of stuff, so I guess that just gives you some items that you can use if you're going to pursue the Galactic Season content. which I don't know anything about, to be honest with you. I just did it because it was like popping up and it was free XP. Okay. Yeah, here's the... Hang on, I gotta get rid of this. Here's the Galactic Season stuff. I guess this is for if you're still subbed. I'm not subbing right now. So there's objectives, and then there's the season track. I haven't subbed in a couple of years, so this is why I'm not familiar with this stuff. Shrud says, unfortunately, I find people that feel that word can be used as an insult. I've beyond any chance at normal communication. I don't even bother. No, I hide those people from the channel anymore. I just immediately, like I said, this morning, between last night and this morning, there's like 20, 30 people that I just, bye-bye, you're hidden. Like, it's just, yeah, you can't, the worst is like, yeah, it's just, it's unfortunate. I think it's the same knee-jerk people who will say things like, the moment someone says the developer lied, the moment someone says that, combined with calling you a name, it's all over. Have I been getting Brad Grifters? It's like, nah, I'd say we're calmed down a little bit, Thandar, but it's because we're past Assassin's Creed Shadows. So I'm not regularly playing that game right now. So we finished up a couple of days ago. So, and even the final 2 or 3 streams, it was way down because the people who were really pissed off about it, they've already moved on to the next game. Like, they're already on all over, like, South of Midnight. I might not get hit too bad with South of Midnight because I'm not playing the early release for South of Midnight. I'm playing the normal release, which starts tomorrow. So I may even miss the grifter crowd for South of Midnight because all the racists have already said what they're going to say over the past 3 days of early access. So we'll see on that one. Was the ending good? I like, from a, and I think I said this last night. I did a video last night talking about, I played Assassin's Creed Shadows, so you don't have to. I think the story, it was a little like, we've seen the revenge plot a bunch of times already. So the story was kind of, if I had to say, if there was a weak point in Assassin's Creed Shadows, it was the story. The story was definitely the weakest point of that game. Everything else was awesome. And I would rank it up there as my favorite Assassin's Creed game from a technical standpoint. By story-wise, though, I'm still picking Odyssey and Valhalla because of the mythological elements that those games have. But it was a damn good game, honestly. But yeah, the revenge story we've seen, I don't know how many times we've seen the revenge story play out in the Assassin's Creed franchise. So that felt kind of like, meh, really? Another revenge story? Okay. But apart from that, it was phenomenal. Yeah, I'm going to play it on Game Pass, Gerard. I was not willing to spend extra money for a 12-hour game. I think if it would have been a 40-hour game or a 50-hour game, I would have been happy to pay for the early access, but not for 12 hours. With 12 hours of content, for South of Midnight, I was not willing to spend an extra whatever to do early access. It's like, that's not worth it to me. Like, I've got other things I can do. I always look at those Head Start accesses as it's, I could generally make my money back by playing a game 3 days early, but you know, if there's only 12 hours, I'm like, nah, I'll wait. I'll just wait. It'll be one of the few games I don't do early access with, and I may, you know, I may come to regret that. I may not get any traffic out of the game when I'm playing it. You never know. Toxic Clash. I really don't want to do Quish. Guess we could do another flashpoint. We could finish up on the storyline. We just did the boarding party. So now we could do the foundry. I don't think it was a matter of them going safe with the story. No, I think the revenge shtick is something that has been done way too often, not just with Assassin's Creed games. I just think that the revenge thing is overdone in general. It's one of those. So I have a couple of, like, from a storytelling perspective, anytime that I play a game or read a book or watch a film, anytime I see the prophesied one as the main plot point, I immediately lose interest. And I'm only there for the popcorn factor. Like, that's literally it. And I kind of feel like that's how I felt about the story in Assassin's Creed Shadows. Again, phenomenal game. My favorite Assassin's Creed game of all time in terms of mechanics and gameplay. Not my favorite from a story perspective. And that's because I feel the same way about revenge storylines as I feel about the prophesied one storylines. When I see a prophesied one storyline or a revenge plot, I'm just like, my brain sort of tunes out and goes, okay, the story is going to be meh, and I can enjoy the rest of it independent from that. But I already know the story is not going to resonate with me on a personal level, because I'm like, that's sort of, you got to do something really original with a revenge storyline if you want to make me sit up and go, ooh. You know what's a good example of that? I think it's called Pathfinder. It's the name of the film. It's Carl Urban as the child of a Viking tribe. So the Vikings attack North America, you know, and attack the indigenous people long before Christopher Columbus ever shows up, right? And if I remember correctly, he's like a child that gets left behind, and then he gets raised by the natives. And then as he grows up, he becomes an adult, and then here come the Norsemen again to attack the indigenous people, only this time he's an adult, and he's helping defend his indigenous family from the Norsemen, from the Vikings. That movie features a revenge storyline, but it is done in an extremely unique, fun, engaging manner that made it extremely entertaining. So a revenge storyline can work. Yeah, Hamlet is a good example of a revenge story that works. So it can work, but yeah, it's a Carl Urban film. Yep. I liked The Last of Us 2, Sherrard. I thought it was a great game. I think The Last of Us 2 is better than The Last of Us 1. I'm in the minority right there with you. I think but speaking of which, Last of Us 2 starts in like a week. Season 2 on HBO, I think, is in like a week, maybe. Anyway, that's another example of a revenge story that works because they didn't do it in a generic way. I feel like the Assassin's Creed Shadows revenge story was very generic, and they both had it. Like, both Naue and Yasuke both had revenge, so it's like two revenge stories in the same game at the same time, and they were both sort of very sort of like, I don't know. It was just for me personally. It's one of those things where it was like, oh, you're avenging your dead mother, And oh, you're avenging your dead father. Okay. I really wish I could turn the music on, because the music for this game is really, really good, but it has so much licensed stuff from Star Wars that it just kills my YouTube monetization.
Helmsman, set course for the foundry.
Yes, my lord. Laying in course. Any words to the crew before the assault?
Any words to the crew?
This mission will be dangerous, but no one gets left behind. No one gets sacrificed. You have my word.
Course set. Engaging hyperdrive. Transmitting authorization codes to the Republic fleet. They're allowing us to pass the blockade. Approaching the foundry. Receiving transmission.
There's actually Twitch drops going on right now for
This is
game.
landing
I didn't
control
know
for
that.
Republic Cruiser Doran Sky. You're 6 hours off schedule. Is there a problem?
I did not know there were Twitch drops for this game. So apparently, I guess if you want Twitch drops, make sure you're tuning in over on Twitch at the same time. I just happened to manually check my Twitch, and it was like drops are turned on. I was like, there's drops for this game? That's cool. I didn't know that.
We had to adjust course to avoid an Imperial patrol. Nothing to be concerned about.
Understood. You have permission to dock. You can wait aboard the ship while we run the final security checks.
We're docked. Estimate 2 minutes until our fleet arrives and the battle begins. If I may be so bold, I suggest you take the offensive.
So Joe California said, I think I'm going to enjoy The Last of Us 2 show better than the game. Thought the story was great, but didn't like playing as both characters. Killed the immersion for me. Should be a good story to watch. My favorite part of what they're doing with the show is what Neil Druckmann has said about the fact that they're able to tell. So he's come out and said specifically, don't expect The Last of Us show to be a carbon copy of the video game, because we're able to expand upon storylines that were only partially told in the video game. So we already know they've confirmed that they are doing multiple additional seasons, and they are expanding upon the Fireflies. They're expanding upon the I forget the name of the revolutionary branch who's I can't remember the name of the faction. The Liberation Front or whatever they're called. They're literally expanding upon all of those storylines in the show. So we're getting multiple more seasons. They've confirmed at least 2 more seasons. Exactly, Thindar. They're going back in and saying, we didn't have the time or the space to do all these things we wanted to do with the storylines in the game. Now we're being given the space to do that and a budget from HBO to expand upon that in the show. So we're going to get a chance to do things, which means they're going to be able to do stuff. Now, that's already pissed off some fans because they're like, well, it wasn't like that in the video game. And it's like, great. I'm glad it's not like that in the video game. It's awesome. They're going to be able to actually show things that we didn't get in the show and expand upon things and give us more context for the actions that characters took or the reasons why they exist as they are. So I'm very happy that they're going to be doing that, because it also gives it a chance to, establish its own identity, which is the same thing they're doing with the Fallout show as well. It's like it's set during these canon events, but it's its own It's its own thing. Oh yeah, the best part about the first season of the show was they did things with the characters that they didn't do in the games. So I'm a fan of that. Like any and all storytelling that expands upon the characters and the creations, especially when the creators are involved. Like haters gonna hate. That's what it comes down to. All I'm gonna say is hashtag justice for Joel. I can't wait. I can't wait. There's gonna be people like my wife. So I remember when Chris had never read the Game of Thrones books, and I knew what was coming at the Red Wedding. So when she was watching Game of Thrones on HBO and the Red Wedding was happening, I was just sitting there over in the corner, kind of cackling, going, "Oh, this is gonna be so good to see!" And I know it because she's never played The Last of Us, and I know exactly what's happening. And when what happens to Joel happens, I'm just gonna be like, "Nope, nope."
Aerial ships have jumped out of hyperspace. Lock down all sections. Repeat, lock down.
Jedi doesn't fear death.
Oh, they're absolutely doing it in the first season of Last of Us 2. Yep. They have to, because that's what starts the Abby versus... Like, that's the whole... That's literally the start of the arc for Last of Us 2 as a game. So they have to establish that very early on in Season 2 of the show. Although, I could be wrong with that. They could decide to push that to the end of Season 2 for the show, because they might be telling backstory for Abby and the factions throughout the first part of the Season 2. I don't know, so maybe I shouldn't make that claim. Hector, the Starks got what was coming to them. Jesus. Yeah, I haven't seen anything in the Season 2 trailer that suggests anything, but I think they're being very careful with that, Ribrom, because they don't want to spoil it for the people who have never played the game. So I think they're playing their cards very close to their chest. But anybody who's played the games is like, we're all sitting over here with like biting our nails going, oh my god, how are they going to do Season 2? Can't wait to see. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy.
Let's see how they like this.
Oh, those are for a side quest. So I guess I gotta listen to those because it had a distinct audio cue. To be fair though, John in the books is much better than John in the show. Like, but I'm very disappointed. Like, I quit reading. How many novels have been published in Song of Ice and Fire? 5? I quit reading after the 4th novel, and the reason was because the first 3 books came out relatively quickly, and then it took like 7 years for the 4th book. And then the 5th book took like 10 years. And while I was waiting, I already had seen it take 7 years for the 4th book. And then when it got to like year 7, year 8 for the 5th book, I was like, I'm done reading George. George R.R. Martin is literally the author that made me say, I now him and Patrick Rothfuss, those two dudes literally took me, a lifelong reader, and made me say, I now refuse to read book series by authors that are in the process of being published. I refuse to read anything that's in progress anymore. My time is too valuable. I refuse to read a book series that's in progress because there's too great of a chance that the author is going to either get writer's block or just abandon it mid-series. It's been 15 years or whatever for George R. Fuck you, George. Like, seriously, I get it. You're old. You were never that successful your whole life. You finally saw success with Game of Thrones as a TV show, and you started making millions for the first time in your life. And now you're just... No, he's like 80 years old. He's never going to finish. Wheel of Time is never going to be finished. He's never going to publish the 6th book. He'll be dead before it ever gets finished. And so... But... Yeah, George R.R. Martin and then Rothfuss on top of him were the two authors that made me say I'm never going to read a book series. That's why I've never touched The Way of Kings. Good for you, Sanderson. I'm glad that you think it's fun to write these 750 million word novels and everything else, but I'm not going to read your behemoths until the whole series is done. I'll go read your other books and your other series that you've done, like Elantris and Mists, the Mistborn stuff. I'll read your other book series, but I have no desire to read The Way of Kings and stuff until it's finished. Like, I don't want to get invested into something only for the author to die and or the author to take 15 years between entries. Like, just not going to do it. So yeah, I don't think Song of Ice and Fire, I don't think it's ever going to get completed. Like, it's been 15 years or however long it's been since the last one. It's like, yeah, he didn't quite say that, Joe California. I think he alluded to the fact in a blog post that, like, if there's a chance, I think he said something along the lines, I would have to go back and read. I read the post when it came out a couple months back, and it was, the media definitely ran with the paraphrasing, but it was essentially like, there's a chance that I might not ever finish this in my lifetime, and it's like, okay, then why should I be invested? Like, you've essentially abandoned book 6. And the thing that's crazy is, like, I loved the first 4 Game of Thrones books. There is no doubt that George R.R. Martin is a talented writer, but he put himself in a position. Yeah, he did basically say it. The media paraphrased it, Joe, but he essentially said, "Yeah, there's a pretty good chance it's not going to get finished in my lifetime." And it's like, yeah, I don't know. I'm seeing your chats just fine, Bear. Anyway, yeah, George R.R. Martin, piss off. Finish your books, man.
We'll stay behind to defend the step and guard your escape route. Good luck.
Yeah, I've seen a bunch of Brandon Sanderson stuff on YouTube. He's a talented dude. Yeah, I think Robert Jordan, as an example, the fact that someone else had to finish his book series when he died. The good thing is that he actually left behind enough notes for it to be finished. I don't know that George R.R. Martin has enough. I don't know that he has anything actually written down. I honestly think the guy has writer's block. I think that it's what it's come down to is he wrote something extremely complex and he's able to keep all those storylines together up until a point. And then he got to a point where it got so big that it started to become hard to tie all the plot lines together. And then I think this is what I legit think happened. I think the HBO show went out And they published the final 2 seasons based on his notes. He hadn't finished those books yet. And the reaction to that final season in particular, the reaction was and people were so upset with that. I think he had to go back to the drawing board and go, well, shit, no one liked my ending. Now I've got to rewrite and now I got to come up with a brand new ending for this story, because if I don't make it better in the book versions, everybody's going to hate me forever. And so now I got to figure out a way to make the fans happy, because they were pissed off with the way that the show ended, and I can't have that. I think that's legit what happened. I think correct. He started making a ton of money, so he's like, well, I'm going to go off and do House of the Dragon. I'm going to write a prequel book. I'm going to go off and do this other anthology. I'm going to go do the Elden Ring thing. Again, he finally started getting a paycheck after 70 years. Not 70, but he's 80 years old now. So he was a writer for 50 years. But he was never a, New York Times best-selling, making millions writer. He was I'm a writer who's making a steady paycheck. I'm getting to go to conventions. I'm making a living as a writer, but he was never getting a paycheck writer like Stephen King. Game of Thrones goes out. He becomes a best-selling author, and now he's getting offers from HBO and all these other places to go do these million-dollar projects, and so he starts taking those projects on instead of finishing the book series that put him on the map. I get it. You're old. You're trying to shore up your last few years and enjoy the success after 40 years of basically being an obscure science fiction and fantasy author. I get it. But at the same time, I think that as fans, we definitely have the right to sort of complain about that. Be like, George, dude, finish your fucking books, man.
Best duelist in my class.
Dude, that is a big ass robot coming down the hall. Right, Bear. I think any writer who's done a big project has plenty of notes. But I think in the case of Game of Thrones, Song of Ice and Fire, I think it's just this complex beast that got out of his hands. And then he just got sidetracked with all these other projects. And then people didn't like the ending, and so now he's in a corner of going, well, shit, I gotta rewrite and figure things out and find a better ending to get people, to make people happy. And I just don't think he's ever gonna come up with an actual ending.
We're monitoring the fleet battle. The Republic's surrounded the foundry. We won't be getting reinforcements.
No, I don't think Martin ever had any issues with the HBO show. No. We're not going there. Something that I really need to read this year is I need to go read Tad Williams' follow-up to the Austin Ards series, because I know he just published the new. I think the third book in the new trilogy came out in October or November, and I really need to go read that, because the original Memory, Sorrow and Thorn is just such a great series, and I've heard great things about the new trilogy. Yeah, the one I just mentioned, Queen Blueface. So it's actually the fantasy book series that George R. R. Martin credited with making him start Game of Thrones. It's called Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn by Tad Williams. It's a trilogy of books, and he has now expanded the series since then. It has a second follow-up trilogy where the main characters are much older. But it's Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn is the name of the series by Tad Williams, Queen Blueface. The Dragonbone Chair is the name of the first book. Second book is Stone of Farewell is the second one? And the third one is Green Angel Tower, I think, is the name of the third book. It's a phenomenal high fantasy series. So good. The Otherland series is also extremely good by Tad Williams. But I would say read Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn first, and then read the Otherland series. I love Tad Williams. I've loved him since a kid. He also does like nightly readings on his Facebook page. He's an older guy now. He's in his 60s, late 60s. He's not very tech savvy, but he reads his own books on Facebook Live like every night at like 1 o'clock in the morning or some ridiculous hour because he has a crazy writing schedule. I don't read that much anymore, Matt. I used to read a lot, but not anymore. I don't have a lot of time to read because most of my time is spent playing games and covering news for games and everything. But Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn is a really good book series. You know, it starts off with a young protagonist, and then he grows throughout the trilogy and, you know, becomes king. It's a really good book series. And it's got really original characters. And Tad Williams is a phenomenal writer. What's up, Deeks? Good morning, good morning. I did write I wrote my first Patreon blog post yesterday that was my first post of 2025, and I was talking about in that post. It's the links are out everywhere if you want to go read it. But essentially, I was reminiscing on the fact that I started writing full time in 2008, and I did that for 15 years. I put over 25 million words in print and online in 15 years as a writer. Last year was the first year I didn't write anything at all last year. I did some outline work on the Patreon for an upcoming fantasy series. And I did do a little experiment project with our YouTube channel members at the very beginning of the year. We were doing some short stories. But last year was the first year I did not do any, I didn't put any words on paper in 15 years. So it was the first time in 15 years, other than the outline stuff that I did on Patreon and some short story stuff that I did at the beginning of 2024. And this year will be my second year. And I don't, that's the blog post that I put out yesterday on Patreon was I don't, you know, I have the itch sometimes, but honestly, I'm just busy and having fun doing this right now. This is just sort of the next chapter of my life. And I'm going to do this for another, I'll do this as long as I can. As long as YouTube and Twitch are still around to allow me to make a living. But I anticipate, like I said, and I've talked about this publicly, I've talked about it in the channel videos, in the channel member section for our channel members on YouTube. Like, I really only am pushing this to just save up for our pension, and this is just the next thing that I'm doing for a living. I don't plan on doing this for 20 years. Like, if I could get 5 years out of this, I'm okay with that. Because then once we get the mountain home built or purchased, whatever that ends up being, Chris gets her art studio, I get my writer's studio, and then I'm just going to go work on writing fantasy and science fiction novels for the rest of my life. Because I'll be 50 by that point, and that's all I wanted. That's all I ever wanted to do when I was a kid, was just write books for a living. And then I did that, and it was fun and everything else. But then video game development came along, and I was like, well, there's a new storytelling avenue, and now I'm gaming for a living, and that's fun. And it's sort of a nice little break from writing for a living. And so I'm very happy to just be doing this right now. Every once in a while I get the itch to go write something and I'm like, nah. Like yesterday I literally had I had a scene that popped into my head. This is like 4 days ago. I had a scene that popped into my head, and that scene was like yelling, go get it down on paper, and I was just like, shut up. Shut up. Just push it down. Push that urge down. But I had this scene of a guy running through an alleyway, and it was like a Blade Runner-esque type environment. But he was running down the alleyway with somebody chasing him. And it was just this scene that was playing out in my head. And then I was just like, nope, I'm not gonna. Don't touch it. Don't touch it, because if you touch it, that becomes a thing you have to go take care of. And I'm not in a place where I want to take care of any of that right now. I don't have time. I was like, nope, shut up. No time right now. There are a ton of books in about Deeks. This is for sure. And I think that's the last bucket list item for me, is just I've been published in other mediums in the travel industry, and then I self-published all my fantasy and science fiction. The only bucket list item I still have left that I want to accomplish in my life is I would love to get published by one of the big... I'd love to have a science fiction or fantasy novel come out by like Tor or Bantam or one of the really big book publishers. That's really the only bucket list item I have left in my life. I've traveled the world. I've pursued my dream of doing archaeology stuff. I pursued my dream of writing fantasy and science fiction. I pursued my dream of game development. I've done all the things that I wanted to do in life. So I'm like, okay. What's next? I wouldn't mind doing a screenplay. I think that could be really fun, but that's not really the primary objective right now. It's sort of a, if I do it, cool. If not, no big deal. Alright, I need to hit the head before I go any deeper into this place. I'll be right back. I got a good laugh. So our next door neighbor, she's one of her daughters. She's got some young kids that are under, I think they're like 6 or 8. She's got a pair of twins, and one of them or both of them, I don't know, are having a meltdown right now, like a temper tantrum. And they just will start screaming bloody murder. And it's so funny when it happens because she'll just start screaming back at them. So one of them is out there going, ah, 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 and the mom is literally going right back at her, ah, ah, ah. And then I just heard somebody banging on doors, and so I leaned out the back door as I'm heading out of the bathroom and was like, ah, 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 and then ran into my office. And Chris is like, you're horrible. Just like, I am, but it's funny. Like, kids are having a meltdown, man. It's like the perfect commercial for condoms. It sounded just like that.
Force be with us.
Actor's like, I still need to conquer Europe. You know, it might not take 5 years. I give myself 5 years. Like, 5 years is the conservative, you know, if growth stays at a very steady, predictable rate on YouTube and Twitch, it would take us around 5 years to save up the money to buy the perfect piece of property. Like, that would, 5 years is what it takes to allow us to have the sort of what I would consider to be enough money to buy anything we would want to buy in the places that we're looking. But there could be something that crops up in 3 or 4 years that is a good steal that we buy. I could, you know, there could be, I don't plan on this, but every year on YouTube and Twitch, we typically see 1 or 2 games that do better than average growth. And everyone always talks about, once you're past the 4th or 5th year of YouTube and Twitch, every single person who makes it to like the 7-year mark, at some point will see some sort of virality that happens. They'll have something that goes viral. And if you have something that goes viral, you will see explosive growth. Now, I don't plan for explosive growth, but you do need to be ready to take advantage of it if it happens. And if it happens, that can do really interesting things for your brand and for your economic state. It's not good to plan your growth around that, but it is good to have that in the back of your mind, because anytime a game pops off that's doing very well for you, cool. I've never seen anything like that happen, but I'm only in my 4th year of doing this, so I don't anticipate something like that happening this year. Plus, I'm not controversial. I don't do anything that's controversial enough to make me pop off like certain other content creators. But I can say that you can track growth at a steady rate, and that's all you're looking at. It's like real estate. If you know what you're doing in real estate has a 10% is a good number to shoot for as a general rule, a 10% growth rate minimum over time. So you can generally anticipate that if you put money into real estate, you are going to get back a 10% return year over year on that investment. So you can track growth on certain, so like as an example, there's a contract I have right now, which I can't get into all the details of it, but essentially there's a contract that I have that has a 5-year term on it, which looks at something where the partners who are involved in that contract we have a buried in, it's the cost of a buyout essentially is what it comes to. It's a buyout clause where there is an anticipated growth factor based on industry standards over the past 40, 50 years that can be used to program into a contract. So that you can say, here's the buyout clause. The buyout clause says this is the anticipated buyout based on industry standard growth of this industry, so that the people investing in the project know that they're putting money in and they have a guaranteed return of X based on factors Y and Z. And so that's how I structure all of my business plans for like YouTube and Twitch and the way that I do my brand growth. So I can look at that and go, I anticipate that 5 years is the max that I need. It could happen as soon as 3 years. We technically have enough money right now to buy a piece of property. But the question is, do we want to blow that wad in one go, or do we want to wait and try to find, you know, the perfect place? And so we're not in a position where we have to buy anything right now. So we're just sort of putting out feelers.
I have this.
We might buy something locally this year. That's been on. We talked about that the other day in chat. I think Chris and I looked at like that. I was talking about that the other day. I think 3 or 4 days ago. Like, there's a piece of property that came up across from the university where we live. There's a house. You know, they're asking 15 grand cash for it, and it's like, do we buy that? Like, do we buy it and turn it into a rental property? Do we buy it and sit on it for 3 years and then sell it? Like, can I not block that? Whatever that is. Oh shit, I should use a heal. So you might not have to wait 5 years. It might happen in the next 2 years. You just never know. And yes, there's a ton of uncertainty regarding craziness in the world right now, so things could go completely sideways within the next 6 months. We have no way of knowing. Hang on, where's that beeping sound coming from?
Stop. It's time we talked. I am the master of the foundry. Once the Emperor's prisoner, now the man you've come to destroy.
Open this door and face me.
I don't want to fight you. 300 years ago, I found your empire in the stars and stood against the Emperor himself. I was betrayed, defeated.
I paid the price as the Emperor ravaged my mind over centuries. But I gave him nothing. I am proof that the dark side can be resisted.
Not every Sith gives in to temptation. I know the resolve of the light.
Then you understand what I'm doing here. I've seen the Emperor's corruption. He and everything he's built must be destroyed, or the galaxy will suffer forever. You don't need to die with him. Surrender and you can wait out this war as a comfortable prisoner.
Talk to me. We can work for peace together.
I've been betrayed one time too many. You leave me no choice but to turn the Foundry against you. These machines are extermination droids. My infinite army. Farewell.
Okay, there definitely sounds like there's one of those devices around here. I sure as shit don't know where it's at.
Imperative. Extermination units converge on intruders. Psycholocutor and observer specialties report to tactical control.
I mean, that shit can happen, Gerard. I mean, not, you know, I feel for your loss. It's totally understandable. But yeah, you can't plan for every eventuality. Like, and Chris and I talk about that a lot. It's like, you can have great plans, but, you know, I could croak tomorrow. We literally talked about this 2 days ago. It was, what are you going to do Like, what would you do if I, you know, because Chris is very much living, she lives day to day. She does not like to think about the future. Whereas I obsess about the future. Like, you know, I obsess about having plans, and even if they don't all come to fruition, my brain operates in a planned out manner, whereas she's very much living day to day. She just kind of takes it as it comes. She's like, there is no plan. She's like, the house is paid for. You know, if you croak, I'll go help my sister and do a business with her or one of my nieces, and I'll be good. And that's like, fair enough. Like, she just does not stress about things that are outside of her realm of control. It's probably a very healthy way to live.
Force be with us.
There's the one that's beeping. I see it. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, one thing I will say is that since I quit trying to do lots of things with other people, my life has gotten a lot less stressful and a lot more. It's, you know, for a long time, because I was always working with startup companies and running businesses with other people and having business partners and everything else, there was always this need to like focus on other people, and since I cut all that out of my life over the last few years, like moving out here to the homestead was the best decision that Chris and I ever made, and I wish we would have done it earlier, because I do complain about the heat because it does get too hot for me in the summertime, but it's a small price to pay for the financial freedom and the creative freedom that we have here to just do whatever the fuck we want. And like, there is like, the only stress I've had over the last few years was obviously, you know, my cat, you know, dealing with Pippin. You know, that was stressful because she's my office kitty, and it sucked. You know, that did suck. No lie about that. And, you know, it's been a little stressful having the leg thing and dealing with physical therapy. But those are small, like just such small, like being able to wake up and do what I want to do for a living, as opposed to what many people have to do, which is do what someone else wants them to do for a living. It is, you know, there's a level of, you know, when you have that total creative freedom, it's a life-changing thing. I can't speak to what it's like to be completely financially independent, because we still have bills that have to get paid, and I'm not in a position where I could just quit tomorrow, because we're still saving up for our pension. Like, I don't have a pension squared away. I think once I get the pension squared away and the retirement, you know, figured, you know, in a place where we feel comfortable with it, which I said is the next 3 to 5 years, I will be able to transition to the next stage. But right now, I can say that over the past few years, like, we were looking the other day, someone was asking us about, we get people all the time who ask us if we're ever going to go back to traveling, and it's like, no. Like, I just really don't have a desire. I mean, it costs so much money to travel these days. It's like, why? There's the stress, not only the traveling, but it's the stress of air flight, and especially with if you have to travel through a certain country, which I'm not going to name right now. The stress of traveling in that part of the world right now is so high. Like, why would I want to put myself through that stress? Then there's the fact that my wife is a Mexican, and there's a ton of racism against Mexicans in our part of the world. So it's like, there's just no reason for me to want to go anywhere or do anything right now, except for just, we have our animals, we're happy, we have her family is here, we've got nieces and nephews, we've got her sisters, and you know, I am in, even though I don't live near my brother, I'm in communication with my brother and my sister-in-law on a daily basis with WhatsApp. I go visit them, you know. Joe says I just retired a few weeks ago. Now I'm just living day to day, do whatever I want. Right, like I'm close to that. Like I still can't afford to just, like I can't afford on a daily basis if I wanted to just not do anything. But because I don't have my retirement squared away, because I don't trust that my government is going to have, let's just put it this way, I don't trust that my government is even going to be there to pay out on my Social Security and my pension when I reach the age that I could start drawing it out, which I'm 45 now. I think I have to be 62 or 65 to be able to even to start drawing that Social Security pension. That's 20 years from now. So I have a long way to go before I can even start to like not, and I don't trust that. So it's like I might as well just work towards my own thing. So that's where we're at right now. And you know, it's not I don't really have a lot to stress about. This is a good gig, and I have a pretty solid base for YouTube and Twitch, as long as I'm conscious of things. As an example, the other day I experimented with that RoboCop game. The second or third stream, I think it was the third stream, I only had 9 people that tuned into the YouTube stream. That's fucking nuts. And I immediately went, well, we're not streaming that game again, because but that's the highlight of my stress factor. It's like, oh shit, there's only 9 people watching that. Well, I guess we'll move on to something else. Like that's the only stress factor I have, is like, as long as I'm playing games that are fun for me and fun for the audience, then I have nothing to worry about with this channel, unless they decide to, like, yeah, YouTube could go away tomorrow. You know, and if YouTube goes away tomorrow, then I'll go find something else to do. Like I said, I'll just go back to working in fantasy and science fiction, selling short stories, and focus on the Patreon again, you know, which I've done in the past. But like, YouTube and Twitch are in a place now where as long as I'm streaming games that have an audience, it makes enough money to pay our bills and put money in the savings every single month. And it grows every single day. Like, I think my lowest day, I would have to go look, but I'm pretty sure my lowest paid day between YouTube and Twitch has been like $55 or $60. It might be 50. It might be. I would have to go look at the numbers and actually plug that in, because I know there have been some times when, you know, when I haven't done anything or I haven't played a new game. Like I think January when we were playing Mass Effect, I had some days where YouTube dropped to like 40, 45 bucks for a day, and then there's whatever Twitch makes plus the Patreon page and stuff like that. So on days like that, when you only bring in 50 bucks, like that's a low day, but that's the lowest day I've had. So knowing that my lowest day, I'm still going to bring in 50 bucks. That's not, what stress do I have? You know, bills are paid. I put money in the savings and I get to sit here and play video games. Like, I'm not pissing anybody off. I'm not a racist asshole. I don't have the hate train that big streamers have. I do have trolls, but it's not that big of a deal. You know, we get the occasional grifter bots. It's not that big of a deal. I'm just playing free to play right now. I'm not paying a monthly sub for this game. I don't actively play this game. I'm literally just playing this because I wanted to do something that was mouse and keyboard and give my hands a break, because I've been playing so much Path of Exile recently. My hands were hurting on the PlayStation controller. So it's like, what can I go play that's on the PC that can give my hands a break?
Please provide more organic meat bags to slaughter.
I have no desire to play this game full time. I've played it so much over the years, but it's, you know, I haven't finished the storyline for the Sith, so I figured it'd be fun to just dabble a little bit here and there. Trolls are easy content. Yep. They are Dribrom. They're trying to raise they're trying to raise the age of Social Security to 72. They want you to be 72 years old before you're allowed to start drawing your pension from Social Security in the U.S. And I'm just like, yeah, you can't trust the governments to take care of you. You got to figure out your own shit. So.
This.
Oh, I got a new ability. I need to pay attention. What did I get that from? I guess it's from the ding. I mean, I don't care about that ability. Nothing wrong with that. Pan, I've got a buddy of mine. I say buddy, I haven't talked to him in years. But he's a retired Marine. And he gets about, I want to say, if I remember correctly, he gets about $3,000 a month from his pensions. And he's in his 50s, mid-50s, and he literally travels full-time throughout Latin America. He's been in Colombia for like the past 2 years, just tooling around as a single mid-50s dude with a military pension, enjoying the fruits of his labor. Let's just say he gets called Poppy way more than I do. Yeah, the Camino de Santiago it's a lot of fun for a lot of people. We've got a bunch of friends that have done that. I say friends, a bunch of ex-colleagues in the travel blogging space that went and did that walk. Can I punt these guys?
I like this.
I got one of them. Don't sweat the small stuff, JK says. It's all small stuff. I think most things in life are small. Yeah, most things are. Obviously, everybody's got their own unique things that can factor in, but
objection. My master promised you would die horribly at my hands. At this rate, you'll perish well before then.
If you say so, meatbag.
I have this.
This objective update. Are those going to be up ahead, the four shield Oh, you'll be fine. Well, Dragon Scoils, I mean, sticking your head in the sand only does, you know, you can't do that for too long.
I have this.
Well, global stuff does affect everybody. You might want to ignore what's going on in the world around us, but that doesn't really, it's not a long-term solution. Like, at the very least, you need to stay abreast of the biggest thing I can always explain to people, and this is just from years and years and years of traveling the globe, is that it behooves everyone on the planet to have a global perspective, not a national perspective. You need to have an international perspective, because when you do have an international perspective, it makes you appreciate the fact that what's happening in any given country is not the rest of the world. Like, things can be bad in one place and great in another place. And that changes on an annual basis. Like, everybody's got different crises that happen every single year. Everybody's got crazy every country on the planet has crazy politicians, has corruption, has stupidity, has problems with, you know, there's all sorts of problems on a global basis. So I think when we start appreciating from an international scale, that's a much better viewpoint than trying to be national. Because I know way too many people who have never owned a passport, who have never traveled abroad, and they think that their world is only like this. And it's like, nah, man, the world is much bigger than you and your tiny little town that you've never traveled away from. And I think that once you get an international perspective, it makes you appreciate things more, especially when you start realizing, like, there are economies around the world that are doing great things, that are not struggling. There are economies that are growing. There are countries that are doing amazing things with technology. There are countries that are doing great things with medicine. And when you start having that global perspective, it does change your outlook quite a bit. But it is easy to just want to put your head in the sand when you live in a place where it happens to be going through a period of change that is
You have been exceedingly sporting
shitty.
During our hunt. I am HK-47, the Master's most faithful ally.
Well, Easter egg here for everybody.
Droid. It is now my burden and joy to command the Foundry's mechanical armies.
We're not going to play that game, Shelldog. We don't call out individual streamers here.
I didn't think Jedi believed in assassination, or built droids to do their dirty work.
Commentary. I am often pleasantly surprised by my master's moral compass. The extermination droids are my master's crowning achievement. They are equipped with bioscanners capable of detecting Sith genetic material. Any organics with Sith ancestry will be slaughtered. This includes 97.8% of the Imperial population.
That's a lot.
Too bad my species doesn't have any Sith genetic material.
Commentary. Unfortunately for you, the Master still wants you dead. Your bones will make excellent trophies to commemorate my return to assassination.
I remember when my brother did this for the first time, he freaked the fuck out. He was like, oh my god, it's HK-47!
Prejudice set to maximum.
Prejudice set to maximum.
Commentary. I hope my master will appreciate my efforts here. Retraction. You're not entirely unskilled after all. Activating assassination protocols level 2.
That's right, I'm not a useless meatbag.
Extermination units, converge.
Oh, is this where he calls ads? Hang on, we got some generators. I gotta take care of too. I can't remember if I need to do that during this fight or if that's for later. Oh no, that's for the bonus quest. Probably shouldn't do this in the middle of a fight. What's up, Kitten Sunshine? Good morning. Locks to abort sequence. This is not available on console, so I have, don't have an answer to that question.
Extermination units, converge.
You might be thinking of the original Knights of the Old Republic. This is not KOTOR, this is the Old Republic. This is not Knights of the Old Republic, which is a different game. No. You're thinking of the single player titles, which are available on the Xbox. This is the MMO, which is on PC only. Or if you have like a Steam Deck, you can play it on Steam Deck. But this is not available on consoles.
I have this.
Extermination units, converge.
Oh, I'm gonna need to heal. Let's get rid of this first.
Slaughter programs loaded.
There we go. Alright, let's shut all these things down. got a bunch of those generators around here I need to blow up too for that bonus quest. Yeah, I love HK-47. Meat bags. Yeah, I think we'll do Ghost of Tsushima will probably be tomorrow. I might change my mind to do it this afternoon. But I kind of still want to do... I still want to try out the Archer in Path of Exile. So, sometime this week, we'll do the Ghost of Tsushima Rage stream. Just for funs. For funsies. Oh, I need to check FedEx before I forget. Hang on. I got a pretty important package on the way. Oh, it might get delivered today. Hang on. I need to go, get my phone charging. I'll be right back. All right. That's that. Hang on, my wife's yelling at me. apparently Snow White was at the front door, which she's normally is not doing. So Chris is yelling at me because she ran in the house, and the two boys were ready to like eat her face off because she was inside the house. So I grabbed her and brought her into the office for a few minutes. Yeah, you're normally not in the office during the morning hours. Don't be bad. Don't be bad. The problem is when she gets the zoomies in here, and she tries to climb the green screen. Okay. Alright, I think we're ready to go to keep going here. Sorry guys, I got sidetracked with that stuff. She's on the floor. Chris is going to the fruit vendor really quick to get some vegetables so I can cook breakfast here in a bit. But we've got a ways to go before I need to go cook breakfast, so let's continue onwards. If anybody's tuning in for the first time today, don't forget we are live on YouTube and Twitch. We multi-stream in both places, so you can watch where you prefer. Everything in between the streams happens on YouTube, so all the game guides, the discussion videos, the reviews, all of that happens over on YouTube, so make sure to follow along, even if you're watching on Twitch right now. There's also a Homestead channel, a bunch of other stuff. You'll find all information on our social medias, and in our Discord is a Patreon page. This is the day job. We start every single morning around 5 a.m. Central. We play for usually about 6 hours in the morning. And then we come back and do another afternoon stream for a few hours. Usually, not every day, but generally speaking. Currently, we're in between major releases. We're going to be starting South of Midnight on Tuesday. We've got Expedition 33 and the Days Gone remaster coming up later this month. We've also got next month Dune Awakening as we move to the Dark Ages. We just wrapped up Assassin's Creed Shadows and Atomfall. I've been playing a little bit of Star Wars: New Republic because it's a good game, and I've played it a shitload over the years, and it's a great thing to hop into when I'm not doing other things. It is a great game, yeah. Critters. She's just like sprawled out. She's like, ooh, I get to be inside the house. All right.
3 more Republic cruisers have been destroyed, but they're not retreating.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed Shadows was a good game. I've still got a few more guides left that'll come out over the next week, but the main playthrough's done. So I got some more Atomfall guides coming out this week as well. Well, we're going to dabble a little bit more in the Path of Exile 2 early access this week, try out another class or two. We're going to do our rage stream for our tongue-in-cheek rage stream for Ghost of Tsushima. That's going to be fun. So we'll have a busy week, and then South of Midnight tomorrow morning will start at about 10 o'clock Central Time is the plan with Game Pass launch. Bonus objective updating. get to beat the Matrix. Smuggler, hands down, Smuggler. Smuggler is my favorite storyline, followed by the Imperial Agent. I think those two are my favorites for sure. Smuggler's just fun because it's the Han Solo storyline. And then the Agent is cool because it's like James Bond in space.
See how they like this.
Do you need me to do that? You want to sit down in the chair? Come here. Come here. Get in the chair. Get in the chair. You monster. Speaking of homestead stuff, I'm gonna go, I got a new video to record this morning because our duck is brooding. So I gotta get a video of that, and I'll publish that on the homestead channel this morning. But that'll be here in a bit after we wrap up the morning stream. This morning will be a shorter stream, by the way. We're not gonna be doing 6 hours this morning, because I do gotta go cook breakfast this morning.
Can you hear us? They're using the Foundry's weapons system to hold back our fleet. You need to take control.
But we still got a bit. Want to at least finish off this flashpoint. What we're really trying to do is I got to get leveled up to 42 so that I can continue on with the main storyline. I also forgot I need to pop another XP pod.
Be with us.
Still need more of those discs, but I haven't heard any of the audio cues for a while, so I wonder if they're all back in the other area. If they are, oh well. I'm not going to go out of my way to try to find them. Hey guys, I'm right here.
We've got droids attacking the ship. We can't maintain a comm channel.
Oh, there's one. They're definitely not all behind us. This is I probably need to take the time to do the current content as well. I haven't played the main game for like 18 months, so I know there's been like 3 or 4 story updates. So there's probably 10 hours worth of story content to do with like Jedi Guardian. Maybe I'll do that this month. I might. We'll see. At the very least, I want to finish the Sith, this storyline, the source, because I've never finished this storyline. So this is the only one of the origin stories I haven't finished. I would like to get that done, just so that I can say I have now officially completed every single one of the origin stories. Anything back in there. It's a little alcove, but I don't hear the audio cue. I've got two more of those foundry data things to pick up, but I don't hear them at the moment. Thankfully, they have a really annoying audio effect that makes you go, oh yeah, there's one in the area. Another one. Grab the notebook. So I know someone on Twitch a minute ago had asked, am I playing the free version or the paid version? And I haven't done an updated video for 2025, so that might be a good chance for me to talk about that a little bit. So I am currently playing on the free-to-play version. Over the years, since I've played this game since launch, I have traditionally played this game on a subscription. Usually the way this works is I'll come back about every 18 months and play through whatever current content has been released since the last time I played. I have a main character who is my Jedi Guardian, Jedi Knight character. I play through the current content. And whenever I do that, I will usually I will just pay for a 3-month block of subscription time because you get a discount for pre-ordering as opposed to going month to month. But you don't have to pay a monthly subscription if you don't want to. This game has been out for 14 years, I think. 15. I think it came out in 2011, so it's been 14 years or so that this game has been out. There are hundreds of hours of content that you can play for free without ever needing to spend a penny on this game if you don't want to. There are limitations to the free-to-play, and I can't know what all of those are because I haven't really done a lot of the free-to-play version over the years, but I do know, as an example, there's a limitation to how many credits your character could have. I believe it's 1 million credits, so there's a max. When you start getting close to the credit limit, it'll tell you. We actually saw this, I think, whenever I was doing... I played this character a couple months back. I had hopped in for a little bit, played for a couple days, and I was at the cap. So once you start getting close to the cap, it's going to tell you. But it's really easy to just go burn those credits on things because you can go in here to your... Oops, I need to wait before I talk about that because there's bad guys that are going to charge me here. if you go into like your legacy thing, you can go here and find all these things to spend credits on. So I just went as an example and just purchased all of the improved speeder piloting and burned 1 million credits so that I was no longer at the cap. And then you really don't need credits for anything in this game unless you plan on buying things off of the broker from other players. And honestly, that's not something that I would be doing if I was a new player, because the inflation is a real thing, because most of the servers are older servers. They are actively working on putting fixes in the game to address inflation, but if you've ever played an online live service game, whether it's Lord of the Rings Online, EverQuest 2, World of Warcraft, this game, any live service game is going to have inflation when you have older servers. There are players who've been playing for like 10 years. So that's just something you have to face as a new player. So I would say that if you're a new player who's never played this game before, playing it free to play is a great option. You're not going to need the credits for anything other than like little buffs that and convenience items that you can purchase for your character. I think the other limitation for free to play, if I remember off the top of my head, is, as an example, if you're going to be doing crafting, what is the button to open up crafting? Is it N? No, that's... I can't remember the crafting button, to be honest with you. It's been forever since I've played. Wherever the crafting button is, they call them crew skills, right? And there's a certain amount of crew skills that you can have as a free-to-play player. I'm going to pull this up. I need to go find it now. That's the legacy stuff. Crew skills. It is B. Apparently I don't have any. I wasn't paying attention when I said this. So it'll say, I don't have any on this character because I don't care to do any crafting on this character. But as an example, if you're a free-to-play account, you have a limit of, I believe, 2. And then if you want the third, it'll say something like you need to have a VIP subscription to have the third character slot if you want to do crafting. But you can also go into the cartel store and spend coins to unlock that third character slot, that third crafting slot, so that you have it forever, whether you have a VIP subscription or not. And this will be where, as a free-to-play player, you can earn coins in a variety of ways. One of the easiest ways is like if you have the security app for two-factor authentication installed on your phone, you get automatic points every single month. I think it's like 100 or 150 coins per month. So I just have that installed on my phone. And a lot of times if I don't play for like a year, I'll come back and I'll have like an extra, 1,200, 1,500 points or whatever, and then I come in here in the store and spend points on things. We just recently, as a matter of fact, I'm down to 600. You can't see it because it's behind my head. I'm down to 600 points right now because when I started this character a couple months back or whatever, I immediately went into the store and had like 4,000 points to spend, and I went and bought this outfit and the lightsaber for this character from the cartel store. So what are the perks to, if you want to pay a monthly subscription, you get like 500 coins per month to spend in the cartel market. But as again, this goes back to, if you're free to play, there's a credit limit, which doesn't impact you unless you're going to be buying off the broker, which you're probably not going to be doing it for a new player anyway. There's a limit on how many crafting skills you can get, but you could buy those from the store to unlock on your character and just buy it piecemeal. I believe there's also the purple gear. I don't think I have any purple. I do, but I've already purchased it for this character, I think. I can't remember what it's called. The purple gear has a name. And if you're a free-to-play account, you can't use like the purple gear unless you have a VIP subscription, or if you purchase it from the store, you can unlock the ability to use the purple gear on your character from the store. And again, you don't have to spend money in the store. You can earn cartel points through having the app on your phone and other ways. So the subscription is just there to be like, hey, if you're having a lot of fun playing this game, there's a subscription, and you get like convenience perks for having a monthly subscription. I believe also the most current content, like whatever that is behind a subscription, which many other games do it that way as well. So it's kind of a situation of, if you play like the origin stories, there's 8 origin stories. Each one has about 25 hours of storyline behind it. You could play the origin storylines alone and get 200 hours of free gameplay out of this game in the 1 to 50 content. Then there's all the expansions that you can go play, which is another few hundred hours of time. There's all the planets if you want to do that. There's the storylines for each one of the planets. There's the ship combat if you want to do that. There's the PvP stuff if you want to get into that kind of stuff. Again, there's arguably, I would say, there's probably around 500 hours of free content that you can play in this game without ever needing to spend a single dime on Star Wars: The Old Republic if you wanted to. But I always come back and say, if you're having fun and you want the most out of this game, it's totally worth your time to spend on the subscription. Richard says in YouTube chat, you get all the current content and keep it after your sub, even if your sub lapses. So right, so even if I don't have access to the current content right now because I haven't paid a sub in 18 months, all I got to do is sub up for 1 month, which is like $15 or whatever, play for that month, and then when the sub goes away, I still keep the access to all of the stuff I unlocked when the sub was running. So it's a very cost-effective and consumer-friendly way of doing their monetization. So it just depends on how much fun are you having. Do you want to go whole hog? Again, you can play for hundreds of hours for free and never need to worry about spending a single dime, with the understanding that there are many convenience items that are locked behind a paywall, and that should be. Like, if you're really getting hundreds of hours of entertainment out of this game, you should give them some money. Don't be a cheap asshole and never pay the devs. Like, if you're getting any, I would argue that if you play this game for free for more than 10 or 15 hours, you should be willing to give the developers some money for their time. That being said, you can play for free for hundreds of hours with the understanding that there are a handful of limitations, and then if you're really having fun, go for the optional sub. It is PC only, but you can also play it through Steam, so if you have a Steam Deck, you can play it on your handheld. I'm assuming you can play it on any handheld. There is the hope that maybe one day it'll come to consoles, but who knows. I lament the fact that it doesn't have controller support. I would love it if it had controller support, but it doesn't. It's not that big of a deal. It's nice to take a break sometimes and go play something on mouse and keyboard. Give my hands a break from the controllers. It's a great game. And again, it's fully voiced. There's a ton of stuff here. There's housing. There's guilds. There's the multiplayer stuff if you want to get involved with it. You don't have to. It literally plays as a single-player RPG with optional online content. So if you're a Star Wars fan and you've never played this before, or if you just haven't played it in many, many years, there's something to be said for trying it out in 2025, even if it's just for a couple of months in between other releases. If you're having a good time. That's my take on things, because someone was asking, am I playing free or monthly? I've played monthly. I've paid for subs so many times over the years. This is, I think, the first time I've ever done a free-to-play character. And it's mostly because I'm not maining this right now. I'm literally playing this, like I played a couple of days 2 months ago, and then I logged on yesterday because I just wrapped up Assassin's Creed Shadows and Avowed, or Atomfall, excuse me, and then we were like, South of Midnight is on Tuesday. I've got like 2 days between now and Tuesday. What can I go play that I haven't played in a while? And I was like, let's go work on my Sith Sorcerer. I haven't played in a few days, a few months, whatever. Let's go do that. So that's why we're here. And honestly, like, apart from the credit thing, I haven't noticed any restrictions at all. I don't use the broker. I'm not doing crafting on this character, only because I crafted so many times over the years. I don't feel compelled to. So I'm not really noticing the difference, but I can also a little, my situation is unique in that I'm, like I said, I don't care to do crafting right now, and I've seen it all and done it all, so I'm kind of just playing at a very relaxed pace. But I think that anyone could approach it the same way and get the same amount of enjoyment. So, food for thought for those of you who might want to consider playing this game or trying it out.
That HK unit you destroyed, he waited loyally for 300 years. I can rebuild him. but it won't be the same. Can't you see you're on the wrong side? The Emperor is death. For you, for me, for the galaxy.
Death is nothing. Death is power. The Jedi don't understand that.
I understand well enough. As a young Jedi, I went to war. I accepted violence and darkness. The Emperor called to me from across the galaxy. He made me a Sith Lord and named me Darth Revan. I killed for him. I turned on the Republic. But I have found redemption.
On Dromund Kaas, there was a cult founded in your honor.
We just did that quest.
So I've heard.
The
Not
Shadow
what I
Revan
would
cult.
want than the things I did. I nearly destroyed the Republic, and that nearly destroyed me. When the Jedi returned me to the light, my memory was shattered. It took me years to track and confront the Emperor again. I tried to end him, and he murdered my companions and locked me away.
For 3 centuries you've been steeping in hate. Now that you're free.
All those years in his prison, I could feel him in my mind, drawing on my connection to the Force. But I was in his mind too, fighting him. Only I've been both Jedi and Sith, and found clarity in the Force. Only I understand him, and his death is my responsibility.
Oh, he's gonna put on the mask. Bonus points for fans of the original games. Y'all tuned in at a perfect time.
You think you're the only Jedi who's ever fallen. You're one of thousands, Revan. And you're more deluded than most.
Think what you want. It doesn't matter. I've saved the Republic twice before. I've fought Mandalores and armies of the dark side. You won't stop me. Turn and run.
Oh, I can't block that.
Fire will become dust. I will make it so. I will show you the power of the Force in balance.
I gotta remember that he does the punt back on that. Oop, oop. Need to move away because he's gonna do the punt. I need to move. Shit. Man, I can't block him. I don't know what you say.
Jedi doesn't fear death.
Never fought anyone like me. I was Sith. I am Jedi.
Keep healing. There is no death.
She's kicking his ass.
Only the Force.
He's kicking her ass. Yeah, but I got the droid, bitch. Ha ha ha.
As the darkness takes me, I am nothing. Now I know how you felt, my friend.
Booyah! I got a special box. What's in the box, man? What's in the box? What did I get? Nothing that I can use. Boo! 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 Right, Nigel? There's a lot of fun stuff in this game. It's a good game.
This is station control to the Imperial fleet. The Foundry is ours.
Fantastic news, my lord.
And these dungeons are quite a lot of fun when you do them with other players, too. Like, I'm doing it solo mode, so you get a robot that comes along with you. But, I mean, they're hour and a half, 2 hour long dungeons if you take your time. But most players, easy. If you try to matchmake, dude, players beeline their way through them in like 15 minutes because they've done them a million times. But if you take the time to do them, they're like hour and a half long adventures. We're 3.5 hours in today, and I've only done 2 flashpoints. I've done the 2 foundry flashpoints, which are dungeons essentially. But I've taken some AFKs, and we've been talking a lot. So
that Jedi Master used to be a Sith called Darth Revan.
Yes. That's
most importantly, I got closer up to because I got to get to level 42 to continue my main storyline.
Conference with Darth Malgus aboard the flagship. You have my congratulations and my admiration.
Voy a terminar para cocinar. Tienen zoomies hace un momento, estaba dando vueltas aquí. Pues es porque estaba llegando a la puerta. ¿Cómo? Sí, pero estaba allá y se baja. Ay, ¿cómo hiciste esto? Chris just banged her foot up. She's making fun of me. I yell a little bit when I get boo-boos. I get mad. Alright, that is that. I got that. I am going to duck out, kids. This will be a shorter morning stream. We got 3.5 hours in. That's a good morning section. I will be back later today with some more fun. I think we're going to do some more Path of Exile 2, but I'm going to start an Archer character today. I am heading out a little bit earlier today because yesterday I didn't do my grill. I usually grill a bunch of meat and stuff on Sunday afternoons, but I chose not to do it yesterday because we were watching a movie. And then today, I'm going to cook breakfast because it's nice and cool outside. The temperature dropped quite a bit. So I'm going to go cook some grilling up. For those of you who have followed along my Lord of the Rings Online content over the years, I have a special recipe for roasted potatoes that I've used for my Lord of the Rings Online Cooking in Real Life show. I'm cooking those potatoes, but I'm cooking them on the grill. So I'm firing up the wood fire grill. I'm going to cook my roasted potatoes recipe. I'm cooking up a New York strip and some eggs, and we're going to have a nice, big, huge steak and eggs and potatoes breakfast. So I'm going to be out on the grill for the next couple of hours. And I got to record a homestead video because our duck is brooding. So we're going to get a nice video of that for the homestead channel. And then I'll be back in a few hours, probably. I don't know that I'll take a nap today. I might just go straight into the next stream. But we'll be back with some more Path of Exile stuff later today. So in the meantime, don't forget, if you're new here and you were following along, whether it's on YouTube or Twitch, I multi-stream in both places every day. I usually start at around 5 a.m. Central U.S. time. And everything that happens in between is over on the YouTube channel. So make sure to head over to YouTube, catch all the guides, discussion videos, and so on and so forth. We actually have, from yesterday, at some point today, we have a discussion on physical editions of games, I think. Let me go check YouTube. I might be wrong on that. What is the video that I have later today? I think it's a different one because we already did that one. Dude, we still have half of those bananas, Nigel. Old games are better. Okay, yeah, the old games are better than new games. That's the discussion video that's coming out later today on YouTube, and that discussion on Star Wars: The Republic will come out on YouTube here in a bit. We still have half of those bananas. They're pretty ripe now, so all of them have turned from green to yellow. And actually today or tomorrow, I'm going to cut up like probably 3 or 4 of them and put them in containers into the freezer. Because one of the things that I like to do during the hot season is pull out, I'll pull out like a handful of frozen banana chunks, throw them in the blender with a couple cubes of ice and a half a cup of milk, some maple syrup, and just boom, and I've got a nice sort of like banana milkshakey kind of thing at like 6 o'clock in the afternoon when it's really hot. It's a nice little treat, man. So, all right, guys, I'll catch you in a bit with the next stream. Until then, stay safe and happy gaming. Good to see you all today.